Welcome to the absolutely stunning Brie Railway Bridge, and I've been here a number of times in the past, and this is one of my favourite locations to shoot nightscapes. Now, it's not always easy to shoot here because there's these massive big pine trees on the eastern side of the lake here. The easy shot is right here where I'm positioned now, because that's facing in a westerly direction. So later in the year, when the Milky Way core comes down, it sets right over the top of that bridge. And so it's a relatively easy shot to get from this very position here. It's reasonably elevated. Now, I say relatively easy because the bridge is so big, it's almost impossible to get everything in, even with a very wide angle lens. However, the shot is possible, and I've had quite a few occasions where I've been here, sometimes by myself, other times with a group of people, and we've had an amazing time shooting the Milky Way just here. Now, what I want to do now is take you across to the other side of the river and show you another angle that is possible to shoot this structure. Now, there aren't a lot of angles you can get on this structure and get the Milky Way core lining up. It's quite difficult, which is unfortunate because this would have to be one of the best foreground subjects to shoot in this whole central Victorian district. Nevertheless, I'll go over there and show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, well, we made it across the creek here, the river. It's not flooding or anything like that, which is great at the moment. And you might remember some time ago I did a video here talking about how I took a shot from down here where these rocks are, facing straight up underneath the arch of the bridge. And that still to this day is one of my favourite images. Absolutely love that one. Now, this looks like classic tiger snake country to me, so there's no way I'm getting off the track. I'm just going to keep going up the hill. All right, so I'm now on the other side. Well, I'm underneath the bridge right now, but I want to show you something that I shot on this other side of the bridge, which is more facing in a south direction. So you can almost probably guess what I'm going to talk about. So I'm sure you can probably guess that what I shot from over here, facing down there towards the south, was star trails. And it's a perfect angle, just a little bit off centre. So the bridge is facing closer here, a bit further away down there. Now, this shot wasn't as easy as you may imagine. I mean, setting up and shooting with the camera, there's plenty of room here, no worries about that. The difficulty I had was actually lighting the structure, because these massive big arches, what I did, I had to put lights underneath each of the arches to actually get some light under there, because it was pitch black, no moon, no light pollution, nothing here. There is a little bit of light pollution from Melbourne, which is probably 100 kilometres from here, down the south end of the bridge. But I didn't mind that. Also, there's a little bit of light from the signal light, which is up there as well. And all in all, I was pretty happy with how this shot came out as well. Well, I'll tell you what, you could do a whole lot worse than come and sit and relax here and admire this amazing viewpoint. And this is an absolutely beautiful park just to come and wander around any time of the day. Even in the gloomy months of winter, when it's foggy and cold, it looks absolutely phenomenal through here. And if you come on a day where there's a bit of mist and a bit of sunlight at the same time, it's beautiful for photography. But of course, this is the crown jewel of this park, the Malmesbury Railway Bridge, and it is beautiful. So as you can see, these locations are absolutely magical. And why wouldn't you want to come here and shoot these under the light of the magnificent Milky Way? And I do, as much as I possibly can. But in the context of this particular video, I guess I want to point out to you that it's not as easy as you might imagine just to get around to the angles that you want. For example, the rising Milky Way core comes up over here. Now, it's really awkward to get up on top of this hill here to try and get an angle. And if I do, you're pretty much facing straight down the railway tracks. So to get the bridge in and the Milky Way means you need an ultra wide lens, and I mean ultra wide. Now, the problems are introduced there because when you put the ultra wide lens close to the structure, you get a lot of wide angle lens distortion. And I absolutely hate wide angle distortion on structures. So in other words, this structure doesn't keep a straight line. It becomes sort of circular and bends around. The same thing that happens when you do panoramas of this building, this structure. And I've done that as well. And it's a lot of correcting to try and get that wide angle distortion and the distortion from that out of the shot. I don't really like that, to be honest with you. So I guess sometimes we've just got to make up our mind that we can't get every shot that we'd like to at any one location. And that's why I'm showing you different spots today, because I want you to realize that, hey, you can't do everything at every location. But I want you also to think outside the square. And just with that in mind, let's just go to another spot and I'll show you a few things there. Oh, well, I'll tell you what, you would not read about this. It started raining again, but I got my shooting in that location in the can. So right now, this is funny, you'll laugh, but I'm starving. I'm really hungry. It's probably only about an hour and a half since I had that coffee, but boy, I'm starving. And there's a bakery just across the road. This is a Malmesbury bakery. It's quite well known in the district. So I'm off. I'm going to get something to eat. Now you're probably wondering why I'm standing here in the middle of this road and the wind's got up. It's really, really windy here at the moment. But you know, the reality is that a road like this out in the country can offer an awesome nightscape image. All you need to do is set up safely, by the way, set up your camera somewhere near the road, and sometimes you can get the Milky Way core right at the end of the road. either direction. And the good thing about roads is, well, they twist and turn, so you can find roads that face in any direction that you want. So in this case, I've got a road there facing east-west, so I can get the core either side. Now I might have a road that faces towards the south, and this has happened to me where I had the best aurora australis that I've ever seen in my life, and the road leads directly into it, and that is a great image. I love that one. So, you know, roads, they can actually create leading lines. Some of the ones with the white lines down the middle really draw you in, and they can be curved around. There's all sorts of compositions that you can have just with roads. Okay, now just have a bit of a squiz at this fence post. Now it's an old rugged piece of timber, been here for many, many years, and I love the look of these. Now this particular one is out here in the middle of nowhere in a paddock, and the good thing about it is I can get any view around this post. I can get over there, I can get over here, I can shoot in just about any direction. Now why am I interested in this post? Well, you know what? Not only does the post make an interesting subject, but I often will place subjects on posts. For example, you've seen my lantern shots, and I love to put something like a smaller object like a lantern up on the post and make that the foreground interest. And often I'll shoot that with the Milky Way core behind and give that lantern the emphasis, and therefore throw the stars out of focus and create that sort of bokeh look, almost like a portrait photo. And often these can be taken in a single shot, and I think posts like this can be a great subject. So when you're traveling around the countryside, just have a look and see if you can find something like that. Nice flat top, easy to place something on it. Now I'm not sure you guys can hear that, but the thunder and lightning is back. I've arrived at this location and I want to go down there and show you some compositions, but I'm a bit of a scaredy cat. I don't want to be out in the open there with any of that lightning around. So I'm just going to have a bit of a look around here near the car. It's starting to rain. Oh dear, this expedition's going from bad to worse. All right, looks like the rain is trying to stop. Anyway, I'll give the Osmo Pocket a bit of a weather test, see how we go. So I'm going to head down here into this valley. That's actually the river that's feeding a reservoir, which is just down there. And I want to show you a couple of compositions that I've come across down here that I think could be handy and add to our discussion today. So let's go. Now I've got to say, I just love this location. It's green. You know, we're still in summertime here in Australia, and everywhere else is shocking, but this is just beautiful. Oh, it is the edge of a lake, so I suppose there's been a bit of water here, but it's a catchment area for this reservoir. And the thing I love about this spot is the fact that the river down here, which I'm going to show you now, it winds its way around. It's got these really cool S-bends, and the use of these S-bends is going to help us with our composition ideas. So let's have a look. Okay, so here we are down by the river. Have a look at it. It's a really narrow little channelway here, and it's fairly low as far as flow levels, but it's beautiful, clean water. But the thing is, you can probably see behind me there, it goes around in this bend. Now this is actually facing towards the west. So I could theoretically, I could come down here, set my tripod up over on this side bank, just over there, and shoot the Milky Way over the top of those trees you can see up there on top of the hill, back up past where I've parked my car. And you know, that could be a pretty good shot. And okay, well, that's fine. The water's good, the ground is good, sky's good. What else have I got here? Well, let's just have a bit of a look over here. All right, now just have a look down here behind me, because what we've got is another S-bend and the river is now facing in that direction. Guess what? That is pretty much exactly where the Milky Way core comes up in the eastern part of the sky. So just within the confines of about, I don't know, 80 or 90 meters here, I've got two awesome compositions. So I can shoot the Milky Way this way, I can shoot it that way. And as well as that, because these S-bends just keep going around, I can shoot in a southerly direction. You know what that means? I can get star trails as well, if I want to get the rotation of the stars up there in the south. So this is a pretty good spot. Now I fully realise that when the reservoir fills up, this is all underwater, but I don't think this reservoir's been full for years. So I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing here. And as you can see there behind me, it looks pretty awesome, doesn't it? Now where this gully comes into the river here, you can see a beautiful composition there facing towards the west. And this is better than the first one because I've got more of the water in the shot, and I've got a couple of spots where I could access the bank of the river here quite nicely with my tripod. So you can see, I don't know, hopefully you can see my car over there in the distance, and that is pretty much due west from this location. So that means that's where the Milky Way is going to come down, and I'm a little bit further away over in this direction now, which means those trees on the horizon are further away from the camera. And that's a good thing because I'll get more of the sky. And this foreground is just fantastic. So I'm getting excited. Now, I have been here once before and I actually did shoot this river, but it had a lot more water in it at that stage. And the sky at the time wasn't behaving itself because there was lots of clouds, but I think that shot turned out reasonably okay. Now, I'm not sure this is going to come out on the Osmo, but you can see there, this is looking at photo pills, that the Milky Way core comes out in that sky straight down there past that big rock. And that looks like a pretty good composition as well. If I can just get my tripod down near that water, I think I could probably do it. Looks okay. Okay guys, now I hope you can see, I've got the Photo Pills app here, down low to the ground, facing in that westerly direction. Oh, this is awesome. Love this spot because the river just winds around in front, and you can see when I bring it down, you can see the actual core coming down beautifully over the top of where the water is. And from probably just over there a little bit, I've got a little bit more sweep around to the left, and that's perfect. Oh, that is just absolutely amazing. Love this. Have a look behind me. Look at these gorgeous rocks on the other side of the water. Once again, I don't know, there's a fair bit of woodland up there, trees and bank. It might not be as good, but I love the rocks. If I can incorporate rocks, anytime I can incorporate rocks into an image, I'm going to be a happy boy because I love rocks. Oh no, it's starting to rain. All right, I'm going to have to get out of here. This rain and the Osmo, I don't think is going to behave themselves together. Okay, I'll get back to the car. All right, well, I think I've avoided the rain. Typical, I've got back to the car and it stopped raining immediately. So, look, I'm a little bit wet, but a lot of that is just because I'm sweating so much because it's been so humid today with all these thunderstorms around. It's really warm. It's about 28 degrees, but high humidity. But anyway, I've loved this location and I'm definitely coming back here as soon as the time is right. And of course, that's the whole point of this video that we're having today, is to sort out locations that I can put in my memory banks and mark them down and jot them down and know that I can come back here at any time to shoot. And this is a bonus because I can shoot in pretty much any direction. And so they're the number one targets. So if something happens, if there's an aurora or something like that, I've got a clear view south. If I want to get the Milky Way core coming up in the east, no worries then. I've got the river as a foreground. Same deal if I want the core coming down in the west. I've also got the river as a foreground. And so that's a real bonus, and they're the sort of shots that I'm always looking for. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you again, maybe out here in the great outdoors, or perhaps under the beautiful night sky somewhere. Who knows? But whatever happens, I'll look forward to seeing you. See you later.